We left Joseph looking for his brothers in Shechem. And then he left to find his brothers in Dothan. We continue the story today in Genesis chapter 37, 18 to 22. I'll read it. It's actually very straightforward, but I'll unpack it anyway. And when they saw him afar off, verse 18, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, Behold, the dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. For better understanding, let's examine exactly what was said. It needs to be understood that all of what happened in these verses 18 to 22 occurred between the time that they first saw Joseph to the time he arrived. Verse 18 sums it up. And when they saw him far off, even before he came near to them, they conspired against him to slay him. You know, Joseph's brothers knew him as soon as they saw him far away. Wow, especially by his coat of many colors, right? It was not in the heat of the passion or the moment or sudden provocation that they would slay him in cold blood. Oh, no, no, no. They were going to kill him from a preconceived, premeditated, and smoldering maniacal malice. Their complete dysfunctional hatred had never subsided. If at all, it had smoldered and smoldered into what you saw, what you heard now. They mocked him. Ha! Look at that! The dreamer cometh. So as they conspired, they said to each other, and you know what? They spoke to each other over and over again. It didn't take long. But they said it so that they could build themselves up to do it, to bolster up their evil convictions. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. When we'll say, Some evil beast devoured him, we shall see what will become of that dreamer. Wow! From envy and malice, they proceeded to conspire against the life, listen, the life of their brother. And then make up a lie to tell their dad. They said, We will say, Some evil beast has devoured him. You know, this would definitely be believed, since wild beasts were in abundance in that region at that time. Well, Samson, years later, killed a lion right there in Israel or Canaan. How about bears? there were bears too. We shall see what will become of his dreams, they said. If he's dead, what? They wouldn't be annoyed by his boastful dreams anymore, would they? Make no mistake about it, they thought his dreams were boastful. Look at me. Ha ha ha. I'm Daddy's favorite. You know what? Eventually you're going to bow down to me. Ha! No. That's how they interpreted it. Now, but Reuben heard about their plot. You see, apparently Reuben was absent from the discussion. No doubt Levi and Simeon probably did not tell Reuben about it. Levi and Simeon were the second and third oldest. Reuben was the oldest. They were Leah's boys. So, apparently Reuben was absent from their discussion. You know, I believe it was that the brothers feared that being the oldest brother, he would probably overrule any plans they had. Ha! He certainly did that. He certainly did that as he delivered him out of their hands. What did he say? Let's not kill him. So he proposed another scheme. This is what he said. Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand on him. You know, it's possible Reuben worded it in such a way, shed no blood, to remind them of God's law as outlined in Genesis chapter 9, verse 6. You see, that law probably was carried through in the righteous line, of which Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob came. And it was this. It was given at the time of Noah. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For the image of God made he man. By casting Joseph into the pit, it was proposed, they would not be directly killing him, but they would still be depriving him of life in another way. Like he could starve to death because he was trapped in the pit. So this verse closes, the same verse, closes with revealing Reuben's true intent. His intent was that he might rid him out of their hands to deliver him to his father again. You know, Reuben's appearing to be a hero in this situation is believed by some commentators to be a way to reconcile his father to him, to be reconciled with his dad, whose bed he had defiled by his previous affair of Bilhah, who had been Rachel's maidservant. Now, it's worth repeating here that Joseph had done nothing wrong. When I read through this part of Genesis several times, the first few times I thought Joseph was a spoiled brat that was rubbing the faces of his brothers into the fact that he was the favorite and that he would probably inherit everything. But when I read it over and over again, his willingness to go to his brothers, to find them at risk of his life, told me something else. He had done nothing wrong to deserve death, besides being Daddy's favorite son and unwisely, I'm telling you, this was unwise, unwisely repeating dreams that cast his brothers in an inferior position. Besides that, he was guilty of reporting the evil deeds of his brothers because he was asked to by his father. When our children were growing up, I told certain of my children, this is worth reporting, this is not. They had to differentiate. There was a difference between reporting something that is truly evil or being a snitch in reporting something that didn't have to be reported. Well, I'll tell you, evil hates being exposed by righteousness. Joseph's brothers did not like their evil practices exposed. I don't believe that the evil report given by Joseph was a lie. It was probably something that was serious. Jesus had something to say about being righteous and being hated for your righteousness. Jesus in the Beatitudes had this to say: blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And what did he say to his disciples? And we are his disciples if we trust Jesus Christ as Lord of our lives. He said, blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. For us, it is for Jesus' sake. And this comes from Matthew 5, 10 and 11. But for Joseph, it was for the Lord God's sake. His brothers, however, did not just desire to speak evil against him, which they did, but rather to do evil by snuffing out his life. Folks, if you are a Christian, don't ever feel this way, but give it over to God.